post there for you guys to follow along. Also,
I'll probably share my screen, yeah. No problem.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty open. I think what we're looking for here is just to hear out the community on these things, on how they feel about LFG, the process so far, the introduction process, how things have went through the launch, and just hear what you guys think. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Here, let me slap some emojis on that.
My screen.
What's up, everyone?
So let me know. Yeah, we need to pay for our Discord forum. Just ignore the bright red stuff.
Wow, Soju, pay your bills, dog.
Yeah, we have some issues with our team credit card, so now we have to like sort out everything.
Come on, Soju.
GM, everybody.
Not in front of the Dow, bro.
GM. What do I think of Cloud Launch so far? Like all LFG so far.
I won't really comment on the token itself, but one thing I like about FP I've noticed, and he did this like also during the LFG round, is like he's very good at like sort of like observing like what the sentiment is and then like course correcting. And I think that's like hugely important for any sort of leader. I saw him do that like a couple times, and not everyone's good at that. So that's really important.
Yeah, I think FP is internally we say that FP is one of the best people who can get it right, like the airdrop, the token launch part. Like we saw it as one of the best people to get a token launch right, and we were quite shocked when the airdrop didn't happen, but thankfully he pulled through as expected.
Gotcha. Soju, so why don't we start? Why don't we just go through the forum post and sort of like start the discussion there, just sort of laying the groundwork, the framework for what we want to address here.
Sure. So I think what I'm working on next is a new thing called a cat pad, which is a product that's like allowing you to launch green coins and stuff. But then today's retroactive is really about RFG, which is what we want to build, which is what we want to make like the best place to launch tokens on chain with community help. So before we go on, I also want to revisit what we achieved during cloud launch. So there were a lot of changes and improvements compared to a normal LFG launch, which gets spotted and stuff like that. So for cloud, we had Alpha Vault with a super long vesting of 180 days, and mostly community members willing to stick around for the long haul, use the vault, which is why we didn't see instant dumping at the start by the vault buyers, which I think was quite important because that was what affected many projects that launched with Meteora's Alpha Vault without LFG. And in the past, we were actually tightening the price range on the DRMM pool. For example, for Jupe, we started at 4 billion to 7 billion FTV. We didn't want to start the initial price too low because like if we started it too low, you can get botted by like people sniping the pool. But now with Cloud, thanks to the Alpha Vault, we actually managed to start a 500x range. So it was like 1 million to 500 million FDV. This is the thing that if you had told me like a few months ago when I was running the Jupe launch, like we could have done this, I would have been super surprised. And yeah, another thing is that like with the Alpha Vault dynamic, the issue is that you need to balance the Alpha Vault attractiveness and the on the market attractiveness. So that's what we also did fine, which is why that after the Alpha Vault ended, there was still buying and selling activity and not just selling activity from the Alpha Vault. So with these three things, I think I'm quite confident with the LFG launch mechanics. So we can go back to ramping up to make sure we get the best projects into LFG and launch with us, which is the purpose of this call. It's like I want to hear more from the community, like how do we empower the community to bring in the best projects, because after all, LFG is a community launchpad. And what are some things the team or the process can be modified to sort of like improve things are how do we optimize for bringing the best projects essentially, whether it is helping the community do it, whether it's empowering the team or the WGs to do it, stuff like that, which is the part where I wanted to hear everyone's like feedback and opinions.
Gotcha. So do we just want to let people up? Just go for it.
Yeah, feel free to raise your hand if you want to speak. Feel free to drop messages in the chat. I'm staring at it as well. I have a notes dot on the right as well.
Yeah, so if you guys want to come up, you have any comments about the LFG process from start to finish, please raise your hand. We'll let you up. We can talk about it. Wake, I see you. Letting you up. What's up, Wake?
Hey, Soju. Hey, Slorg. What's up? What's up?
What's up?
You're a little bit quiet. You're on the quieter side here.
Oh, really? Hold on. Let me. How's that?
Yep, better.
Okay. I don't know like the technicals behind this, but is it possible to launch tokens at a lower FDV? Because they're not nice to trade after launch. It's like very hard to maintain such a high FDV. Why do you know?
What do you think of cloud? Do you think it's high FDV as well? Do you think it's too high?
I haven't, to be honest, looked too much into that, but typically they all launch at like over 100 mil, and it's just you can't maintain it, and then it's just a dump fest like every time. So I'm just wondering, like, has that conversation happened internally at all about the initial valuation, like the initial market cap of tokens on LFG?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, like we were forced to set a high initial market cap because we literally assumed that whatever market cap that you set initially would be whatever the bot does buy. So if I had set a FDV of like 10 million for Jup, it would not be you guys buying it at 10 million. It'll be a bot. Like some sniper like Nassim or something. For cloud, we managed to start at 1 million FDV and go to 500 million FDV. Now it's at 280 million FDV and like 50 or 60 million circulating market cap, which is a reasonable valuation for a project that size. DYOD, don't, not financial advice. I think the problem we have is actually not in the launch mechanics. The problem we have is in the process. The process currently favors the largest and strongest projects with the largest communities and revenues and VC backing to launch on RLG. And these projects usually command a higher valuation. So it is possible to launch projects with lower FDV. We just need to like launch smaller projects. And I can only launch smaller projects if the DAO votes on smaller projects.
Right. But even if they are a big project, surely the market cap could get there organically without having to launch so high. So there's just this constant sell pressure.
So yeah, I guess. So one thing that Binance Launchpad does is that when people launch a Binance Launchpad, Binance will literally force their valuation down aggressively in negotiation. It's something that I have not wanted to do because I see it as I step into the exchanges level. So Binance does that because as they force the price lower, it basically gives free money to BNB holders who then dump on the holders from the actual community, from the actual project that's launching with them. So I'm actually thinking about whether I need to start doing that a little bit more. Sort of like force the valuations down of companies who want to launch with us. And then favoring like on-chain users or sort of like having some sort of metric that we can favor users by. Especially if alpha vaults start to be super oversubscribed and stuff. Yeah. But I think it's a very good comment, so let me just write it down and think about it more.
Thank you, bro. Love you, man. Keep killing it.
That's right, too.
Thanks, Sloggy.
Yeah.
Cheers, Soju. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Good point.
You write it down.
Yeah.
Hey, Ferry.
What you got for us, man?
Heyo. Wake's point was sort of good. I come from more of like an investor perspective, so I just wanted to firstly say congratulations. I think the vesting schedules, the amount of supply, all of that is almost tweaked to perfection, I think, with the Sanctum launch. I was pretty impressed with it. It took a while for people, like if you need to really take a while to figure it out before you realize this is really good. So the curve, I think once people understand the curve is to benefit investors for the first 3 days minimum. And then once that's gone, like that might be the cheapest tokens you ever see in the history of that project. Simply because the project's determined what our value is based on this. So, like if we're selling this much at supply, we know our market cap is around here. So how do we give people a good price? So their intention is, because you're in early supporting the curve, like you get the best price. And for them, that's their perspective. Like, what's our long-term vision, our roadmap? So they've thought about their future, what they're going to give, what value they're bringing, and so what value is cheap. So in their perspective, you know that they think you're getting a good deal. Um, so yeah, so congratulations. I think it was set up really well. I was really excited about it. So
Yeah,
congrats on
thanks a
that.
lot. Me and FP spent so many hours toying over it. I think going forward I will like sort of structure it a bit more. So far in LFG is like open pay field. Everyone and all the projects that launch with us can like can modify and customize any parameter. But I think now I have
Yeah.
sort of this formula which I somewhat think was good, that will start to like impress onto the founders more. And I hope
Mm.
the next launch will do a bit better, yeah.
Yeah, I think the main, so as this is like, that's just praise. This is my sort of feedback, and it kind of ties into what Wake was saying. Is that the main problem with it is that it's so contra to the meta of like, like normally a launch, people are like, this is great. It's 70% higher. I can pay 70% more money for tokens. Woohoo! And then like, wow, it's 300% higher now. Like, but it's like, but the market cap is now highly overinflated. Like when people say the word pump, they don't realize they literally mean overinflated. Like it's just going to crash down, and that isn't healthy for investors coming into legitimate projects. And LFG solves that. Like it gives people cheap tokens without the project needing to worry about, are we just throwing away supply and then people are just going to trade it down. And it, you putting figures of the vesting schedule, like Cloud's 180 day solves that. The people that are willing to wait 180 days for the full tokens are, actually would have to have thought about the project and believe, that's, I think, Meow's alignment. You get alignment through the vesting schedule, but who
Yeah.
gets the cheapest tokens? Yeah. But my feedback is it's mainly the confusion because it's so against the meta. People don't understand. Firstly, they don't really understand how an LP works, a lot of them, and they're trying to figure out why is the average price different to the live price that launches.
Yeah.
Um, but also, it's I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Basically, yeah, understanding that it's a token sale without saying it's a token sale, because then people are like, oh, the team's gonna pull liquidity. It's like, no, they sold tokens. They told you, they got their project they're developing. They take some of the USDC, and because they're kind, they leave some in liquidity. While market makers go run around and fill up. Now the token's live, in circulation, people that have got them in circulation, like traders, they're like, well, I don't want to sell it at this cap, so I'm going to go make a liquidity pool and set my liquidity higher to earn fees. And that's normally how trading happens. But with the vesting, like more and more comes into supply over time once the market's kind of found its feet. That's healthy. But I guess what isn't healthy is the moment that liquidity is pulled, some people that are confused will sell. And because that sell pressure now has a high impact on price, it can cascade. Like we saw, basically, you guys, we're really lucky that Uprock happened because that chart is like the ultimate worst case of curve is there, but everyone sells. Everyone that bought LFG sold. That's what the chart shows, but it shows the safety net. You don't see a massive dump that immediately affected everyone and no one had a chance to react and, decide their own, oh, do I want to hold? It gave everyone time, and that's why the Uprock chart looks like that. that doesn't say LFG is bad. That shows you the support network that's there through LFG. And so what you guys really need, I guess, is just tying off my solution side of it. But it's not really a solution. It's kind of hard. You need a project that's really good, but is willing to, like Wake said, undervalue themselves highly, so that it really is the cheapest you got the tokens. And then market trades on top, but no one knows that safety net's there, but it is there, the vesting safety net. And then that would really showcase the power of LFG. Because every time we're just seeing sort of this fear sell-off and then a cascades, because then people are like, oh, price is going down, I'm going to claim and sell. So yeah, that's sort of my holistic overview of, so that's basically what I just wanted to say, is that it's the not knowing what's going on that causes kind of that market panic a little bit. And yeah, but healthy trading brought it back. It happened with Jupiter. So yeah, price came down. It was like 30 cents or something. Then everyone's like, hang on, these are cheap tokens here. And then market took over and it just ran. So basically after LFG's an aggressive curve, so heaps of buy volume can come in and price won't react. You don't get a massive price impact, which is perfect for investors, but it doesn't look that good to traders. So like, why isn't price mooning? But that's only 3 days, and then it goes into wide ranges, and the same amount of buy volume is going to have a far more drastic price impact, and then that's good for traders and LP providers. So
You
yeah,
basically say that
once people
the
get
RLG
that,
pool is for you to the RLG pool is for people to like trade the tokens back and forth. So let's say you launch your airdrop today with the RLG pool. By the end of 3 days, those who have GTed will have already GTed. Those who want to buy will have already bought in size, easily, smoothly. You pull the liquidity pool and then you have sort of like this like very well distributed holder base. The right people are holding your tokens and the wrong people have already sold. And I think that like that part of LG has done tremendously well. But yeah,
it's clever.
I can agree that like, we have a lot of comms issue, and I will work on that because that's what I do at my at Jupiter.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
It's not
comms
a problem.
problems and
It's just you want to get rid of that mentality somehow of the liquidities, but the teams taking some of their USDC seen as like they're pulling liquidity. They're not. It's not really
yeah.
like that. It's like
Basically,
that's what it is. It's a launch pad. Like it's
yeah.
them launching their product.
Basically, how
And no,
much
I hear what
USDC
you're
they
saying. Like
get will be how good they can balance the people who want to hold long term, the people who want to sell and get the fuck out. The more people want to hold long term and less people want to sell get the fuck out, the more USDC they raise, which is quite an incentive. This is good incentive alignment. So
I think the balance is perfect, but it's just the people not knowing the market reacts in a way it shouldn't really. Because we know what the product's worth. The teams told us, and we got on the bottom of that curve of what they value themselves. But I hear what you're saying about how it's there to kind of soak up the airdrop in a way, in a healthy way. That's all perfect, so I don't really need to comment on that. It's just the main part is just how do you educate traders on what it is a little bit more. So yeah, it's everyone came into chat like, when's the team pulling liquidity is the main thing, and that brings in fear because they're like, why aren't they telling us? I don't really understand what this is. So mainly just that. That's the main feedback I have. 'Cause then it has like that like Wake was saying, it just dumps, and then because it's not extremely undervalued, it's well valued. Yeah, it doesn't. For traders, it's like I don't really get what's going on here. But for investors, it's perfect. For 3 days, and then traders can take over. But yeah, people just need to understand that. I think personally, you've had the balance for cloud, like I was saying. I'm super excited. Congratulations, guys! And I'll get off the stage now. I just wanted to both congratulate and just give my 2 cents. So thank you.
yeah, thanks. That's a lot, Ferry. I'm so glad the cloud launch went fine. It's a very topic. So I think like one comment I wanted to call out is this comment here, where like the main value add of LG is like our access and distribution to Solana native users. I think this is the main proposition when people want to use LFG. So I was thinking, how do we leverage this to get better projects in, or leverage this to get people to sell the tokens lower? I guess like if a project sells their tokens at a lower valuation, what they get is like real Solana native users buying in, which is good thing for them, I think. Let's try that. Maybe try alpha vault whitelist and pushing variation lower.
Gotcha. But yeah, guys, if you want to come up and chat LFG, anything from the Alpha Vault to the actual administration of the LFG process itself, please raise your hand. We'll let you up. And if you're a little too shy to talk, just post your questions in the chat.
Yep. I think one thing I'll try the next time is 1 year vesting for Alpha Vault. And what is in the Alpha Vault deposit for only like Jupiter status or like the community members of the project. And then pushing the variation lower. I want to try that.
So yeah, Menasol, what you got for us, man?
Oh hey. Hey man.
GM guys, hope you're well. Hope you can hear me nice and loud.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
Beautiful. So just a quick question. I've got a friend, an Aussie Solana project that wants to use the Alpha Vault. Is it available permissionlessly yet? I asked Deb to ask this question previously, but it'd be good to hear what the update on that is.
You can use it with Meteora, yeah. So that's why we reach out to Meteora and schedule a launch with them. It's not I don't think it's permissionless, they need to do it for you. But they do not turn people away. Yeah. It's like they just launch things non-stop.
Right. So reach out to you or someone else in the team to get access.
Meteora.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, so Meteora offers it as part of the product suite. So I am just Jupiter. The market caps are too high, that's what Rick said.
Gotcha. Yeah. Who else wants to come up? Rolex Gold, damn, have to decide between Town Hall and Iggy full ass space with me. Nice. Yeah, guys, I know a lot of you left comments under the tweet we put out and in the forum, but yeah, if you guys want to chat live right now, back and forth, we could talk about the Alpha Vault, we could talk about the LG process, we could talk about the state of the candidates who went through it. Anything's on the table, guys, so feel free.
Just reading the comments and saying things we're talking about.
Okay. But yeah, so why don't we field some comments in the forum post so we can read some of those out loud.
Yeah, I'll go top down then.
Yep.
Yeah. This guy Merlin here suggesting that we need to have more soft KYC around like LFG teams. So I guess like I'm not very for like pushing people to KYC themselves on LFG, but I can say that like if you're not actually someone who is known, you can't really win. So I highly doubt like some anonymous account who says that he like started Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg or something and then came to join crypto, like someone like that will actually win. But I do agree that like the Jupiter crowd is like one that does a lot of DD, that understands projects and like does a lot of research, which I'm very proud of.
So you're saying
Yeah.
it's sort of like baked into the cake, right? Like more known teams are going to stand a better chance, sort of like D-Bridge, Sanctum, et cetera, et cetera. You think those teams are innately going to stand a competitive advantage compared to someone who comes in, is unknown, probably has a very small chance of winning?
Yeah, basically. That's what I'm saying. And yeah. Like for example, FP did so many like, live streams with his face, with my face next to his. So I think it's best to allow the greatest amount of flexibility for people to launch their token within their protocol. I think in the past we have very strict timelines for LFG, and I'm quite happy with the way that we moved the timelines in a way like we gave them 3 months flexibility instead, so they can like decide when it's actually best for them to launch. Yeah, that part is fine. Definitely more attention. Yeah, I think like I think people need to know about the alpha vault, but I also don't want to push it so hard that everyone uses the alpha vault, because we need to remember that $1 in the alpha vault is $1 that's not buying the token or trading the token at launch. In the end, like we don't want a launch where like the alpha vault sucks up all the demand and then goes to zero over time. Some projects in the past have encountered that. But now it's on the UI, and I think that like the UX of Meteora is pretty not so good. So I'll be pushing to have even more components for the Alpha Vault on the LFG page. So instead of directing you to Meteora, it will keep you on LFG completely. That's one of the things the team is working on, but it's quite a pain to do. So I will try to push on that.
Gotcha.
This guy is saying a point very similar to rates is that like the FDV of project should not be that high. And there also should not be any saturation for 1 year. No inflation, no increase in saturation or no inflation for 1 year. Well, I can see where he's coming from. I think removing the inflation in the first 1 year will be tough for vesting. Like vesting, like alpha vault vesting is also increasing the circulating supply, right? So I do agree that like we should not launch for projects that exceed. I do agree that we should start to push projects lower in FDB. As mentioned during the rate discussion earlier, it's something that's on my mind. Whether we pull it off is a separate problem, because I don't want to force teams to undersell themselves anyways. And I think what he's saying here, where like projects need to make sure that the tokens are used in their depth, I think it's quite a key point. Like for example, Jup has staking, and it took us some time to launch staking after launch, and I think other teams should have the flexibility to do so. I think what I will do is that I will make sure that they have plans to launch anything like that for that token, whether it is like governance staking or like value accrual or whatever. And that has to be good enough. We cannot force the project to have all of these ready at token launch, because usually before token launch you are focused on growing your project and not like the utility of the token immediately. But I usually observe that teams who finish a token launch usually switch towards like something related to the token, which is like what Jupiter did. So after the token launch, we launched staking for governance like right after. So teams need to have the flexibility of that. What do you think of an LFG or Launchpad working group slot?
An LFG working group exclusively for LFG is what you're asking?
Yeah, that's the next comment here.
I think it's possible. I'm not sure we have the turnover of projects quite yet that would justify that. I'm not opposed to it, and it's probably necessary in the long term, to be honest. Like if we start getting like a high amount of projects going through LFG, that'll probably be a necessity at that point. But right now, I think we've only done 3 rounds. We still have quite a bit of other things to reveal. I think like the cat pad, for example. But I'm not opposed to it.
Nice. Yeah, I think I guess one question I wanted to throw up for everyone here is that like, should we launch projects faster or slower? Should we like launch projects much slower and show them a lot more love and attention and dedication? Or should we try to launch projects faster? On like 2 projects a month, bam, 1 call, 1 tweet, and then LFG side is live. What do you guys think, guys? Faster because we make more money? Less effort per token, more launches?
I've got a perspective on it, and I think it depends on why do you do this, right? Is it because you want to learn from it so you can improve the product, or is you want to make people rich really quickly? and advertise different businesses or organizations and tokens that can succeed. And I think it's the first one, right? You want to learn from it and keep making a better product. So going faster, as long as you've got some changes that you want to implement and you've got people that want to be the guinea pigs that want to learn from it.
Well, the only one learning is us, right? Because this product only launched once. Yeah.
I think
Well,
the thing
you're a
that,
representative of the industry, right? Of the ecosystem. So people learn from your products. You obviously learn from other people's products.
I think the thing about Jupiter is like Meow and sort of the ethos here is like trying to tackle the really hard tasks. So I'll give you an example of one that was done successfully in recent memory. Is that the tokenless system was built on around GitHub, and it was this very cumbersome system, both from the point of view of the submitter and the reviewer. It would often take submitters probably 30 minutes to figure it out, sometimes an hour to figure it out. They'd have to wait, and then the reviewer, it would take the review team probably 2 to 3 hours a night just to comb through all of them. And it was becoming an increasingly unscalable burden as 20,000 tokens suddenly hit the ecosystem every day. And it was just sapping so much time from the BD team, from the CWG, and it was very unproductive. And if you look at the history of token lists within the space, it's such a huge undertaking. It's very hard to get right. It's something you can't really automate. There always has to be, at least up till now, there always has to be like a hands-on component to it. And like a lot of products, a lot of platforms just don't want anything to do with it. Hence why so many projects use the Jupiter token list. But through so much trial and error, through so much blood, sweat, and tears, we found a workable system. It's not perfect, but it's so much better than anything else that's out there. And I would say, analogous to that, I think the vision for LFG is to try to do that with launches. Just because you look at the history of any launchpad in the space, and so many of them just end up like launching everything, sort of devaluing themselves in the hands-on way, not like an automated way. But what I see for LFG is trying to do a similar thing by going through the blood, sweat, and tears with the launchpad process to find out how to make it work.
Yeah, writing it down. Yeah, I agree with those points.
I think you brought up an interesting one about the GitHub comparison to the strict list that Jupe runs now. You know, like the volume has increased, so obviously the admin has increased. But what has it improved? Because there's obviously a lot more tokens getting listed, but a lot of shit ones come through still, and there's still valid ones that don't get through due to reasons that are given that there's not enough volume. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
What do you mean? Can you clarify the question part of your statement?
Sure. So with the original strict list that Solana had, and now Jupe manages. So what improvement is the new way over the old way?
Right. So one of the main ones off the bat is just the process itself. You drop the mint address and you're pretty much done from the point of view of the applier. It takes 10 seconds. It's not a cumbersome process anymore. 10 seconds and you're done. And we also have a very nice admin panel as well, where we can review everything alongside of the data. And it's much faster than it was before. It no longer takes 3 hours a day. So just
Oh,
the
you're talking
application.
about the admin side, not from a token launch perspective.
I'm talking.
You know,
I'm
from the
talking
token.
about. I'm talking about both. We're still talking about the strict list, right? We're still talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So from the
you still need
applier
to
point of
submit it.
view, you don't have to make a pull request. You don't have to do anything. You just drop the mint address. You'd be surprised how many people just don't know how to do it, how to do the original to make a pull request. That was
Yeah.
a huge issue. We were having about 20%, 30% of people coming in having no idea how to do that. Now you simply just drop the mint address. Takes 10 seconds. Very easy. Very, very quick. I can set here. I'll link the site to you if you
Yes,
haven't seen
please.
it before. But yeah, mechanism. And also another component to the tokenless system is the addition of tags. So what we're trying to do over time is add like a bunch of different buckets that you can fall in, where everything doesn't have to fall into the quote-unquote strict list system, and it's just a much easier process that relies on multiple sources of data rather than like one source.
Yeah, this is nice. Just need a multi-sig section in there.
Gotcha. But yeah,
I guess the answer is within the chat. I guess the answer is sort of like allowing as many projects as possible to use the cat pad, which is the permissionless launchpad, and then like restricting the speed of LFG to only launching the best out of the best, and like with tons of attention and hand holding.
yeah. If I
I
could,
think chat. Go on.
I was just gonna say, if I could add my opinion to it, I think it shouldn't be a one size fits all process. And my guess is that Jupiter is well headed in that direction, and they acknowledge that. I personally think LFG should be slow. I think CatPad and the whatever else comes out of the works, I think those can be fast, but I think LFG should be more intimate.
Yeah, makes sense. I think I would think so too. Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, CatPad and CamePad does have fees to the DAO. So what Badas is saying is not true. Yeah. CatPad will have a fee to the DAO. For example, the Irene Zhao one has a 5% fee. So 5% of total supply. I'm thinking of doing more CamePads. What do you guys think of CamePad, guys? Do we do more CamePads?
I have a question about the ClaimPad, CatPad. Is it a set 5% fee, or is that just for the Irene DAO?
Right now it's only for Irene. Because if CatPad is like fully permissionless, I think 5% is too high. It'd probably be like 0.5. It'd probably be like 0.5% of total supply, or a percentage of tokens distributed through the CatPad. Because we can only take a fee on that, yeah.
Are those going to be included in the quarterly ASR, like every other token, or are they going to be unlocked faster, or like what's the mechanism? Is it different or same?
We have not talked about that yet. The issue is that for the CatPad, a lot of the tokens will be worthless. So if you just copy and paste the same ASR method, you might see like 1,000 airdrops during ASR, with 99,999 of them being worthless. So I need to think about that a little bit more. So it's like how will Pump Fund and distribute their fees if their fees is in the supply of the meme coin? Like most of them go to zero, right?
Right. So that's why I asked, just because when you have something permissionless, you're not guaranteed the same quality as hands-on. So I'm wondering, like, will the DAO be able to get those tokens faster? Will they have to wait 3 months?
I guess something that's on my mind is that maybe we can like just distribute the highest token. So let's say this is the month of July, and then like 1,000 projects launched in July. We can maybe just distribute the one that made the most money, or like has the highest market cap, or was worth the most at the end of the month, with some sort of vesting to sort of like not ruin the price and stuff. How do you think of that?
It's true. I think, like, honestly, I think people would prefer a smaller fee if they were able to unlock it immediately. Like, I think they would my reading of the room, but I feel like people would settle for a smaller fee if they could get it sooner for the claim pad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I think I have no idea how CatPad will go. Yeah. I think what we can do for CatPad is that we can make it very easy to add on the Jupiter users. For example, you get a reduced fee if you add on the Jupiter users at launch. stuff like that, which might be cool. Reduce fee for airdropping to Jupyter users. Distribute faster. Manage the net or okay. Yeah. So I roughly agree with the sentiment. LFG should be slower, pad and CanePad can be faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roughly agree.
Yeah, I think for like permissionless systems, of course you never want to like enable and power bad actors, but like it becomes very burdenous to take like full responsibility to the extent of like something more hands-on when it is permissionless. So
Yeah.
definitely
Makes
faster.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean like LFG currently requires like my like 80% of my attention during the launch at least. So it'd be nice not to have it'd be nice not to be that busy, yeah. I have a permissionless way for these people to launch. But yeah, let me just look for any more cool stuff here. Anyone else have any other questions? Happy to talk about it. I think the balance between permission launchers and permissionless launchers is quite important. Like what Nick here said. I think like we need to have a permissionless solution soon. Any plans in the future a higher launchpad fee? I think LFG is actually making a shit ton of money. Because as long as we launch the right projects. So for example, for Centum we made 1%, which is currently worth like $2.8 million. For Zeus we made like 8 million. Yeah, that's like
Yeah, let's keep reading the forum.
2.5% is a lot. Maybe we'll get there. I would like to make more money for the DAO also. LFG will be the best launchpad only if it's launching the best out of the best. I agree. Good projects will choose LFG when both the tech and the community are top notch. I agree as well. We're getting there. I think the tech has made sustainable improvements and the community remains the best community on Solana DeFi or Solana. The Cover Group should also reach out to new projects. In addition, waiting for projects for further submissions. Cover Group is doing so, and I'm also doing so. There is also a need for better marketing for the LFG Launchpad. I agree. I will try and work harder on it. Note it down here. Work harder on this with him plus Mel. LFG votes should not be more than 5 weeks apart. What do you think of this slot?
I think it's rough now to get into like a set cadence just because it's still like a very like new and hyper flexible system. I think over time we can, once we have like a very like solid pipeline going on from start to finish. But to try to like set like strict for example, like July was completely like taken up by other DAO items, right? Which made another LFG round not quite possible. But I think over time we can sort of like coalesce onto something like that.
Mostly agree. Those who win should be given a second chance. Yeah, they are always given a second chance. The non-core work group should also market the JupStation as the best community in crypto instead of just focusing on the Jup products and policies. I guess this is a note for Up Ying. Yo, OG, you see this? Yeah, I will agree so. I agree with this statement, but I also think that the non-core working groups and the team are also marketing JupStation as the best community in crypto. We are pushing that, and it's quite undisputed. So, haha, we'll keep going. But yeah, I think just let me just like write down another thing here is that like where do we want to be in 1 year for LFG? I think where I want to be, I'll just ramble on about where I want to be 1 year from now, and you guys from the chat can just like comment as I go. I think I want to launch maybe 6 projects a year, one every 2 months or so, with high quality marketing, nurturing, maybe even incubating these projects early on. We also want a balance. We also want a good balance of like chain pad or cat pad on Jupyter. So there's like launches every 2 weeks or so at least. So there's a moderately good launch every week. So it's like a somewhat good launch. And accruing and everything accruing to the DAO. Whether it is CamePad, CatPad, or LGPs, whether it is upfront or after 3 months. What do you think of this slot? Where do you want to be 1 year from now?
I think ideally we want to be at a point where like the entire ecosystem knows of the LFG process and strongly wants to get on it when they're launching a token. I think if we can become like the go-to place to like launch tokens, I think that would be the most ideal scenario. I think we're
The go-to place launch tokens.
yeah, I think like we're on track because we've gotten like Sanctum is a massive project, D-Bridge is an absolutely massive project, but I wouldn't say we're 100% there yet. Definitely still room for improvement.
Yeah, and I agree that we want to be the go-to place to launch tokens. I think it's not just Solana tokens. I think it'll be cool if people can like bridge their tokens from other chains just to launch on Solana. I think that's like I want us to be like crypto's launchpad, not Solana's launchpad in the long run. But of course, Solana will be the best change if that's true. Can you imagine a top tier like L1 coming to Solana and launch their token? Literally showing that they have no users and they rather launch it on our platform. And then they are 1% of 1% of an L1. Okay. Any final questions, guys? Thanks everyone for
We're
hopping
gonna
on.
probably wind up at the hour mark, but yeah, we'll still let people. If you guys want to come up and yap about LFG, or if you guys have any lingering questions, please post them in the chat. We got quite a bit of feedback on the forum, so really
The live stream started.
appreciate you guys for doing that.
Oh wow, we have 3 minutes to go to the live stream with EG. That's not bad. They actually pushed it back until we are done.
Oh, cool.
Soju. Hey, why is his name in front of mine? What? What is this? Let's go first. Yeah, man. LFG is like so important to me and the DAO. So it's like we'll just keep pushing on it together.
Yeah, I think this is gonna evolve into something really, I mean, for lack of a better word, just fantastic. Just with the cap pad, the claim pad, and LFG just going full throttle all at once. I think we stand a chance of, I wouldn't say being the exclusive launch place for Solana, but I think we're definitely going to be very competitive in that regard over time. Yeah, I know Soju is absolutely incredibly busy today, so I'm just going to ask one last time because I always like to give everyone the opportunity to speak. But guys, if you have questions, this will be the last chance. Oh, looks like Fairy wants to come up again.
Stop.
Yo. Have you guys considered the desynchronizing the kind of token launchpad aspect from the airdrop aspect, in the sense that like you get too much crossover of the people complaining about I didn't get much money happens in the exact same place investors are trying to come in and buy. It would almost be beneficial not to have the claim on the launchpad side, just have the curve and the where you buy and have the claim somewhere else, just so people don't confuse the two, and they already confused ASR from
Yeah, that's something I've noticed
airdrop
happen
and
a lot. It does happen a lot. I think we've been trying to like do UX changes to like really inform people.
yeah,
It's been better each time. It's still not
it has.
100% though. So what would you
Could
say if you could reiterate your feedback on this? Like, what do you think we should do exactly?
I honestly think that the claim for the airdrop, so that it's the place where it's relevant, should be on the website of those projects. So Solana's claim for their point system should have just been on Wonderland, and then LFG does what it does, and there isn't that crossover where, because then people's negativity, they go, oh, this is just, they don't confuse it with Jupiter, and it would be beneficial for those teams, I think, as well, not to confuse what's happening with Launchpad with the airdrop. Too many things happening in one place. I understand why you put it in the same place. It makes perfect sense on paper, but I think now we've seen so many LFGs, you really need to start questioning. Would it just be better people go to those websites and claim? That's just it's
Yeah,
worth thinking about.
I feel very strongly about this thing as well because of what happened during Centum. We sort of
Yeah,
recovered anyways because we managed to rally the comms around the VOD and stuff, and they oversubscribed. But yes,
yeah,
I'm actually thinking of doing exactly as you say. Yes.
Well, yeah, like
Okay.
Uprog FUD was 2 weeks straight. Sanctum's only 2 days, so you guys have made a drastic improvement there.
Yeah, I think what will happen is that like we will launch the LFG page where you can check our airdrop first. It's our
Yeah.
airdrop tracker release, and then we'll launch the rest of the LFG page with the turf and everything, and then you can see everything. I think we'll do it in a two-step process.
Mhm. Awesome. All right, sweet.
Well, I think
That's all
that
I
works,
have.
right? A two-step process.
Yeah, just some degree of separation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. But that's a very good feedback. It's actually on my mind, and it's on my list for next time. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, and congrats again. It was really good.
Thanks, Ferry.
Cloud LFG. No worries.
Shall we all go and watch the Meow and ED live stream now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think we can wind it down now. But yeah, guys, we're going to review your feedback. There was some feedback under the tweet. There's a bunch of feedback in the forum post. And of course, there was some feedback here as well. We're going to review it all and we're going to take your feedback. And hopefully, we're going to translate it to some improvements.
Yep. And I'll see everyone for next week's slow build out of the RLG process, and I'll see everyone for D-Bridge launch. See you guys. Thanks for coming out.
All right. Sounds good. See you around, everyone. Peace.